Internet. About a week ago, it was announced that Ben Affleck will be the next Batman. And that's when the world went fucking insane. I mean, all over Facebook, all over message boards, and all the nerd news websites, you have people ranting that he is the worst Batman ever, he shouldn't be Batman. And then you have people who stood there and said, no, he is a good choice, and those who are in between saying, hey, it could be worse. Well, now that the dust has settled, I decided to bring two friends. They're really into comic books, they really love their Batman, they love their Superman, and they're going to debate here today. First, the contenders. Okay, so we did the coin toss off camera. Ivan, you won, and Ivan, you chose to go second, you said?
That is true.
Okay, Elliot, you have 1 minute to give your opening statement.
All right. So, first and foremost, I want to make sure that my position is being properly represented here. I am not coming to this argument stating that I think Ben Affleck is the best choice for the role of Batman. I don't know. What I am stating is that I don't think that this is the travesty that a lot of the internet nerd community thinks it is. My position on this is that we haven't seen anything yet. Affleck has proven himself in the past as an actor, as a good actor in a number of movies. Yes, he had some weak points, but my position is that I am willing to accept Snyder's choice for him in the role until I am proven otherwise.
Okay, and for you, Ivan?
Alright, well, since Elliot gave his disclosure, I'm going to go ahead and say this right away. I am actually hoping that Ben Affleck can prove me wrong and actually be a decent Batman. But do I believe he can do that? No, far from it. I have to disagree with Elliot in the fact that I don't think he's had too many great acting roles. I think the most credit we can give him is as a director and a writer. Most of his acting roles, well, he has had a couple okay ones here or there. I just don't think that he has what it takes to really capture Batman, which really, if you think about it, is two different people. It's Bruce Wayne and Batman. So he's playing two people because they are very different, and we have to remember that when we're going into portraying Batman. And I just don't see that with Ben Affleck. And also Daredevil.
For the first opening statement, Elliot, are you ready?
So, the stance that I'm coming from here, and to play off of what my opponent has brought up, that you have to play two characters when you play a superhero. Well, and I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but I don't feel like playing Batman himself under the cowl is actually that challenging of a role. You need to be physically fit, which Affleck is. You need to be intimidating, which under a mask that covers 60 to 70% of the face is not a difficult thing, particularly when it looks like a demon with horns. So I feel like the challenge of playing Batman under the cowl is not going to be that difficult. Where the real challenge is going to be is in portraying Bruce Wayne. And that can fall under a number of different challenges, because there are lots of different interpretations as to how Bruce Wayne should be portrayed. Is he a flamboyant, devil-may-care playboy? Is he the philanthropist of Gotham? Is he, how do you do it? And he's been done in many different ways. Keaton came to the role as a very kind of jolly, friendly, approachable millionaire. Christian Bale was basically a narcissistic asshole. Clooney was basically George Clooney. And Val Kilmer, I honestly don't even really remember his portrayal of Bruce Wayne. But do I think Affleck could do any one of those different things? Yeah, I do. I'm looking at his film history, and he's got any one of those characters under his belt in a number of different roles, particularly in the Kevin Smith films. If you want to approach Bruce Wayne as a friendly, approachable guy who sits above Gotham, that might be the biggest challenge, is Is Affleck portraying a character?
I will have to cut you off. That is at 2 minutes. I'm sorry. And for your first argument, Ivan?
Okay. All right. So, piggybacking off of Elliot here, the whole not sure if really Batman counts as a hard portrayable character. I disagree. Because that's one of the biggest issues that most everybody had with George Clooney. It wasn't his Bruce Wayne. It was his Batman. It was the fact that as Batman, he was not believable. You couldn't buy into this guy being menacing or frightening in any which way. And that's a big problem. You really need to be able to pull that off. And it's not necessarily as easy as it may seem. And let's face it, when it comes to his acting, there's just really not much that you could really look at that would just show you that he could pull this off. His two best movies, which, I haven't even seen, but according to everybody else, his more recent movies, Argo and The Town, and, Good Will Hunting, but we're talking more recently. But those two, he didn't even get any acknowledgement for acting. That there's nothing that can really stand out with those movies. Everybody's all like, he's an Oscar winner or a nominee, but none of it was for acting. The only nominations he's gotten are Razzies. He has an amazing amount of Razzies that he was nominated for. Won quite a few too, if I'm not mistaken. But that's a testament. That's a testament to his acting ability, and that is very worrisome. Because we need somebody that can portray this correctly. And I know, there's been a lot of talk, it's Batman, how, it's not like it's like King Lear or something like that. No, but in our time and age, superheroes are our new mythology, and they are kind of bigger than life, iconic characters, and we really need them portrayed properly. So, for somebody to come in here that...
I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cut you off. That's your 2-minute mark. Okay, Elliot, you ready with your second comment?
I am. All right. To make a rebuttal on your regard of Clooney, people did not take Clooney seriously as Batman, largely because of the suit design. That was Joel Schumacher's bat nipples, and that is the reason why that didn't go over. Yes, Clooney didn't take the role seriously as Batman, but we know that Affleck, being a huge fan of the comics, is going to take portraying Batman and Bruce Wayne seriously. Affleck is a very, very big comic book fan. The guy... he rivals people like Nicolas Cage as far as fandom goes towards comic books and the general milieu of that field. Another point that I feel we need to address here, and everyone is going off and off and off about Affleck portraying Batman. This is not going to be a Batman movie. This is a follow-up to Man of Steel. It's a Superman movie. Batman is not going to be one of the main characters, I suspect. I can't speak for certainty because I haven't read the script. But, as I understand it, this is trying to build a larger DC universe. Batman is not going to be the main focus. This is going to give Affleck a chance to ease into the role. The main focus of this movie is going to be Henry Cavill as Superman, with introducing a character that is part of a larger superhero world. We're probably not going to see Affleck as Bruce Wayne at all in this movie. What we're likely going to see is a character in a costume who is investigating an alien visitor who destroyed half a city. They'll have a little bit of interaction on opposing terms, and then we'll team up together against whatever the main villain of the movie is going to be. This will give time for Affleck to really get into the role. If you look at Bale's portrayal, Batman Begins, he's not really all that solid in the role. Dark Knight, when he's had a chance, when he's had a previous movie to portray the character, is where he really shines. And I think that Affleck is going to have the same
You
advantages.
are at 2 minutes, sir. And Ivan, for your rebuttal.
Okay, so much to go off of with that. Where do I start? Okay, well, how about this for first? So, yes, it is a sequel to Man of Steel. And that is a big point, and Elliot does have a point with that. But here's the thing you gotta remember. Batman is one of DC's flagship characters. There's no way they're going to let him sit on the back burner like that. Even if it's just like a little cameo thing, there's just no way that DC would settle with that. Like, that's not going to happen. Most portrayals where you've had Superman and Batman both in the same, cartoon, comic, whatever it may be, they've both gotten equal share. Now, right, it is a Superman movie, but they're building up to something larger. They're building up to Justice League, and they need to fit in as much Batman as they can while still keeping it a Superman movie. Difficult task, and I'm not sure that that's really going to flow off the best way, but it's something that they have to do, and I feel like that's what DC's going to go with. That's their approach they're going to take. Now, another point, he brought up the fact that Ben Affleck, being such a big fan of comics, that he should be able to portray Batman quite properly. Once again, Daredevil. I mean, come on. If he was such a big fan and he was so dedicated to it, Daredevil would have been way better. Granted, it's not all his fault. There was a lot of things that went into it that made it a bad movie, but his portrayal in it was not good. He just, his acting was horrible in it. The emotions that he was trying to get across were just sad, really. And not in a good acting sad way. It's just really sad. And I mean, to say that just because he's a big comic book fan that he's going to do a good job, and using Nicolas Cage, how could you use Nicolas Cage for an example? Do we not remember Ghost Rider and Ghost Rider 2? Those were
Hold on. Okay, Elliot, for your final statement.
Mm-hmm. If the folks at DC have even 2 brain cells to rub together with these movies, you are not going to immediately go to a Justice League movie after a Batman movie, after a Superman movie, and then a Batman-Superman movie without throwing in another Batman movie in between. They're not going to just throw it away and say, like, okay, well, now he's good, because that does make Batman a minor character. So what Affleck is going to have for a Justice League movie, he's going to have this one coming out, the Superman versus Batman, or whatever the hell the title of it's going to be. Then I absolutely guarantee he is going to get his own movie before a Justice League movie comes out. Now that is provided that DC's cinematic department gets their act together, which, let's be honest, compared to Marvel's cinematic department, they've not had the best track record with. But if they're going to do it at all, they're going to give him his own movie. So he's actually going to have even more time to warm up into the role. Look, you make a valid point about Nicolas Cage. He's not the best actor. And I will hold that Affleck is a better actor than Nicolas Cage is. Now, he has some misses in his track record, but he also has some good hits. The man is passionate about his career. The man loves the source material. And he's grown older. He has matured to a point where I think he can handle this now. I'm not saying, again, to reiterate my initial point, I'm not saying I think he is the best candidate for the role. But do I trust Zack Snyder's decision to cast him in the part? I do. Until I am proven otherwise, I am willing to accept that he has a direction, that he has a route that he wants to go on with this character. And I am willing to be entertained by it.
Okay, Ivan, and for your rebuttal.
So, well, let's see here. Elliot thinks that a Justice League movie isn't going to be happening anytime soon unless we have a Batman movie that comes beforehand. But let's not forget, last Comic-Con, DC announced Batman vs. Superman, or whatever the title of that's going to be, for 2015, Flash for 2016, and Justice League for 2017, which means tentatively they do have it set in stone. Like that's when it's going to come out. Doesn't mean it couldn't change. I can give them that. It is quite possible that they decide after they do Batman and Superman and Flash that they do need to have a little bit more. But DC has this pressure on them where they need to get Justice League out because they're losing so much against Marvel with the Avengers and all the different phases that are going on. They really are trying to get that out soon as possible. So that's a big thing. We keep coming back to this whole acting thing with Ben Affleck. Is he good enough? Isn't he good enough? It really is going to come down to opinion, but most people, opinion-wise, will say that Ben Affleck doesn't have too many great roles. Me personally, I can only think of 2 off the top of my head, and they're both Kevin Smith movies, yes. But I'd say, you know, maybe Dogma and Mallrats. But that doesn't really give him too much reign. Although, I don't know. Dogma, he does have a little bit more range to him just because he's playing an angel. But I digress. He just doesn't have the chops, acting-wise. I just don't believe that he has the chops, and I don't believe that he can really portray Batman the way everybody's expecting to portray him. Let's hope we're all wrong, and let's hope that he does it right, and he proves us wrong. But as it stands right now, it doesn't look too well.
And that was Nerd vs. Nerd. Please come again next time where our topic will be... Well, honestly, I don't know, so we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. But I would like to give my final thought. It seems to me that what we want to do is actually see footage and actually see how well Ben Affleck does. It's not a question of whether or not he can or can't, it's just that we want proof. And I'd like to point out one thing, which is nobody wanted Michael Keaton to be Batman. And he proved us wrong. When Heath Ledger was originally cast as the Joker, nobody wanted him. And he proved us wrong. And I'd like to point out that I remember a little guy named Chris Evans. Remember his portrayal of Johnny Storm? Well, come on, guys. Everyone deserves a second chance. And now he is Captain America.